Hey, friends, welcome back to Mrs. Edmonds Cultural Corner. I am your host, Jebba Edmonds, educator, storyteller, podcast host, and now debut novelist. Today, I'm taking you behind the scenes of something deeply personal, my journey of writing The Orange Blossom, my very first novel inspired by Liberian folk tales, my family's wisdom, and a woman's quest to find her purpose. This episode is for anyone who's ever had a story tug at their heart, waiting to be told. I'll share how this novel came to life, what inspired it, and how I stayed motivated, and what it means for me, and hopefully for you. I've always been a storyteller, whether I was teaching in Title I schools, giving DE&I workshops, or chatting with you right here on this channel. Stories are the center of my work. But the Orange Blossom began with a single painting. 10 years ago, a student teacher named Angel, yes, Angel, isn't that the most fitting name? She gifted me a painting of a beautiful turquoise background of two slices of oranges sliced in half. She was inspired by a Liberian folktale that I shared with her during one of our lessons of getting started in being a classroom teacher. But this beautiful gift was what she gifted me at the end of her student teaching journey. And that painting has been on my desk ever since. But it wasn't until 2024 that I looked at those oranges and I said, this story isn't over. If you're curious to hear more stories like this, subscribe to my weekly newsletter where I share behind the scenes author updates and inspiration to help you infuse culture into your classroom and into your life. Head to www.jebaedmonds.com to join our email list. So when I sat down to write, I didn't have an outline, I had a vision. I knew I wanted to bring this woman, Jovia, to life, who was on a journey of her own purpose. I knew she came from a family rooted in faith, just as my family was, and culture, just like my family was, and full of sayings that just stick with you. I also knew I wanted to honor my home country of Liberia. Too often, African stories are told from outside perspectives, and I wanted this story to feel like home. From the food, to the cadence of our dialogue, to the generational wisdom passed from grandmother to granddaughter. I knew that I had to write this book, but I also wrote that I needed a reminder. I needed a reminder that your purpose might not always be flashy or loud. Sometimes it's sweet and slow, like a orange blossom. My writing routine was a mix of discipline and a whole lot of grace. I have 5 days a week, 3 hours each time, Mondays through Fridays, where I use that as my sacred writing block. There were days that I just simply stared at the screen, unsure if this story would ever make it to the end. And then there were days when the words just came out of me, like they've been waiting to be spoken. Community mattered as well. I shared snippets of little texts, of little paragraphs to my trusted friends. And I reminded myself that this book didn't have to be perfect. It just had to be true. Speaking of truth, if you're an educator or a creative ready to center culture in your work, check out my mini courses on cultural competency in the classroom. It's affordable and packed with strategies that you can use tomorrow. You can find it on jebaedmonds.com. The Orange Blossom is more than a novel. It's a love letter to Liberian women, to resilience, to anyone who has ever questioned their path. It's a reminder that our stories, especially those passed down across generations, are worth telling and preserving. I want my readers to walk away feeling seen, nourished, and a little more grounded in who they are. I'm right now in the editing and finalizing phase of my book cover design, and I'm getting ready to publish. My goal is to launch The Orange Blossom before the end of this year. And I will be sharing sneak peeks and reflections every Tuesday in my Inclusive Educator newsletter. So don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much for being part of this journey with me. And whether you're a teacher, a reader, or a fellow creative, or all three, your presence here means the world. Until next time, keep learning, keep watching, and keep honoring your story.